Number 10. The Midnight Muscle Party. Ever been drifting off to dreamland, just on the cusp of glorious unconsciousness, when suddenly, bam, your entire body jolts awake like you've been tasered by a phantom prankster? Your leg kicks out, your arm flails, and you snap back to reality in a cold sweat, wondering if you just fell off a cliff in your sleep, or if your nervous system decided to host a sudden, unscheduled rave. Congratulations, you've experienced a hypnic jerk, and no, you're not secretly possessed. This isn't your brain plotting against you, at least not intentionally. What's happening is a delightful little hiccup between your conscious and unconscious states. As you relax and drift off, your brain starts shutting down, sending signals to your muscles to chill out. But sometimes your motor system, the part that handles movement, gets a bit confused. It misinterprets the relaxation as falling and decides, in a desperate attempt to save you from an imaginary plummet, to send a sudden jolt to your limbs. It's basically your primitive brain screaming, "Code red, we're falling. Wake up, you sleepyhead," only to realize you were just comfy in bed. So, the next time your body decides to play whack-a-mole with your sleep, remember it's just your brain overreacting to the fact that you're finally trying to get some rest. Basically, your nervous system is a helicopter parent that just won't let you sleep in peace. Number 9. Phantom cell phone vibrations. You're just going about your day, minding your own business when you feel that familiar buzz. The distinct, unmistakable vibration of your cell phone in your pocket or purse. You instinctively reach for it, pull it out, and nothing. No message. No call. Your phone is as silent as a mime in a library. You've just fallen victim to phantom cell phone vibrations, and no, you're not slowly losing your mind. This bizarre phenomenon is surprisingly common and a perfect example of how our brains adapt, sometimes a little too well, to modern technology. Your brain creates a neural pathway that associates your phone's vibration with incoming communication. Because you're constantly anticipating messages, your brain starts to interpret other sensory inputs, like clothing rustling against your leg, a muscle twitch, or even just pressure from your wallet, as that highly anticipated buzz. It's a classic case of sensory misinterpretation, where your brain, eager to keep you connected, creates a false alarm. It's like your brain has developed an obsessive-compulsive disorder for your phone, constantly checking for phantom notifications. So the next time you feel a ghost buzz, don't worry, you're not getting secret messages from the beyond. Your brain just really, really wants you to check your social media. Basically, your brain is so addicted to your phone, it's hallucinating. Number 8. The random body twitch. You're sitting there, perfectly still, perhaps engrossed in a video, like this one. Then, without warning, your eyelid starts doing a frantic little dance, or a muscle in your arm decides it needs to perform an impromptu solo routine. It's not painful, just incredibly annoying and impossible to stop, making you feel like your body has a mind of its own, and it's a bit of a spaz. Welcome to the wonderful world of the random body twitch. And no, it's not always a sign of impending doom. These involuntary muscle contractions, often called fasciculations, are usually benign. They're often triggered by things like stress, fatigue, too much caffeine, or dehydration. Your motor neurons, which are like tiny electrical wires connecting your brain to your muscles, get a bit overexcited and fire off randomly. It's essentially a tiny, localized electrical storm in your body, just enough to make a muscle jump. Think of it like a speaker cable that's a bit loose, causing a crackle. Your body isn't trying to send you a Morse code message, it's just politely letting you know you might need a bit more sleep, less coffee, or maybe just a glass of water. So, the next time your eyelid starts doing the cha-cha, don't freak out. Your body's just throwing a miniature, involuntary party. Basically, your body's sending you tiny, unsolicited status updates, and they're always, "I'm tired, stressed, caffeinated." Number 7. The sudden sneeze that vanished. You feel it building. That telltale tickle in your nose, the widening of your eyes, the deep breath preparing for the glorious, cathartic explosion. You brace yourself, prepare for the mighty achoo. And then, nothing. The sensation vanishes as quickly as it appeared, leaving you with an unfulfilled physiological urge and a lingering sense of betrayal. This is the sneeze that vanished, and it's arguably one of the most irritating bodily experiences known to humankind. Why does your body tease you so? The sneeze reflex is a complex coordinated effort involving your nervous system, muscles, and diaphragm, designed to expel irritants from your nasal passages. It's a protective mechanism. However, sometimes the trigger isn't strong enough, or an external distraction, like thinking about it too hard, or someone saying "bless you" too soon, interrupts the neural pathway just before the grand finale. Your brain essentially hits the abort button mid-launch. It's like a rocket preparing for takeoff, only for mission control to suddenly lose interest. The buildup of pressure and anticipation is real, but the final, satisfying release is cruelly denied. So the next time you're left hanging by a phantom sneeze, don't take it personally. Your body just decided it had better things to do than give you that sweet, sweet nasal climax. Basically, your nose is a drama queen, and it loves a good cliffhanger. Number 6. The goosebump phenomenon. You're watching a particularly chilling horror movie, or maybe listening to a power ballad that just hits different, and suddenly, your skin erupts in a landscape of tiny mountains and valleys. Your hairs stand on end, giving you the distinct impression you're turning into some kind of startled porcupine. These are goosebumps, and while they might make you feel like you're experiencing a profound emotional moment, your body is actually just trying to keep you warm, like a ridiculously inefficient personal heater. The scientific name for goosebumps is piloerection, which sounds fancy, but it just means your hairs are standing up. This is an evolutionary leftover from our furrier ancestors. When they got cold or felt threatened, the tiny muscles attached to each hair follicle, called erector pili muscles, would contract, making their fur stand on end. This trapped a layer of insulating air close to the skin, helping them stay warm. It also made them look bigger and more intimidating to predators, which, let's be honest, would be less effective if you tried it on your boss. Even though we barely have any fur now, the reflex persists. So when that shiver goes down your spine from a great song, your body isn't appreciating the lyrical genius. It's just mistakenly trying to inflate your non-existent winter coat. Basically, your skin is still living in the Ice Age, even if your Spotify playlist is pure fire. Deja vu, the brain glitch. You walk into a room, meet someone new, or hear a phrase, and for a split second, an overwhelming sense washes over you. You've been here before. You've done this exact thing. The feeling is uncanny, disorienting, and sometimes a little bit creepy. You start to wonder if you're stuck in a time loop, or if you accidentally downloaded someone else's memories. This is deja vu, and while it feels like a peek into a past life, it's usually just your brain having a temporary, very brief filing error. Neuroscientists aren't 100% sure what causes deja vu, but one leading theory suggests it's a momentary glitch in your brain's memory system. Imagine your brain is a super fast computer, constantly taking in new information and filing it away. Sometimes there's a tiny, almost imperceptible delay. So when a new experience comes in, one part of your brain registers it as new, but another part, perhaps a microsecond later, tags it as retrieved memory. It's like your brain double-stamping a new piece of mail as both received and already filed. Another theory posits it's a brief disruption in your brain's temporal lobes, often associated with memory formation and retrieval. It's also surprisingly common, especially in young adults, which means your brain isn't broken. It's just, well, quirky. So next time you feel like you're reliving a moment, don't buy a lottery ticket based on your prophetic visions. Your brain just needs to hit the refresh button. Basically, your memory system sometimes skips a beat, making the present feel suspiciously familiar. Number 4. Exploding head syndrome. Imagine this. You're lying in bed, on the verge of sleep. All is quiet. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, you hear an incredibly loud, piercing noise. A clang, a crash, a gunshot, an explosion, right inside your head. You jerk awake, heart pounding, convinced something catastrophic just happened, only to find the room is silent and completely undisturbed. No, you haven't gone crazy, and no, your brain didn't actually explode, though it felt like it. You've just experienced exploding head syndrome. This bizarre and terrifying sleep phenomenon, despite its dramatic name, is harmless. It's a type of hypnagogic hallucination, occurring as you transition from wakefulness to sleep. Instead of the typical visual hallucinations, like seeing things in the room, your brain decides to manifest an auditory one. Scientists believe it happens when the brain's sleep switch doesn't quite work right. Normally, when you fall asleep, your brain progressively shuts down sensory processing. But with exploding head syndrome, the auditory neurons decide to fire all at once in a sudden burst, instead of gradually fading. It's like your brain's internal sound system, instead of gracefully powering down, gives one last ear-splitting feedback screech before turning off. While it can be distressing, it's not a sign of any serious underlying condition, though stress and fatigue can make it more frequent. Basically, your brain is just a dramatic sound engineer, and sometimes it forgets to mute the microphone before going to sleep. Number 3. The compulsive yawn. You see someone yawn, and before you know it, your own jaw is dropping open, and you're inhaling half the room's oxygen supply in an embarrassingly wide gulp. Or maybe you're just sitting there, perfectly well rested, and a relentless string of yawns attacks you, making you wonder if you secretly suffer from chronic fatigue. This is the compulsive yawn. And while it feels like a biological compulsion, it's actually one of the most mysterious and socially contagious things your body does. Yawning isn't just about being tired or bored, although those are common triggers. Scientists still aren't entirely sure why we yawn, but theories abound. One popular idea is that it's a way to cool down your brain. The deep inhale of cooler air, followed by the stretching of the jaw and face, increases blood flow to the brain, acting like a tiny internal air conditioner. But the truly bizarre part is its contagiousness. Seeing, hearing, or even thinking about yawning can trigger one in you. This contagious yawning is thought to be linked to empathy and social bonding. It's theorized that the more empathetic you are, the more likely you are to catch a yawn. So, if you're yawning along with this video, congratulations! You're probably a very empathetic person, or you just need more sleep. No judgment here. Basically, your brain is a highly susceptible empath, and it gets easily swayed by other people's sleepy signals. Number 2. The shiver of euphoria. You're listening to that one song, the one that sends chills down your spine and makes the hairs on your arms stand up. Or maybe you're watching an incredibly powerful scene in a movie, or someone just delivered an intensely profound speech. You feel a wave of intense pleasure, almost like a physical ripple passing through you. This isn't just a metaphor. It's the shiver of euphoria, and it's your brain physically reacting to moments of intense emotional beauty. This phenomenon, often called frisson, a French word meaning a sudden passing shiver or thrill, is essentially your brain experiencing a pleasurable mini overload. It's often triggered by music that builds to a crescendo, or moments in art that create a strong sense of emotional resonance. What's happening inside your body is a release of dopamine, the brain's reward chemical, often associated with pleasure and motivation. This dopamine surge then interacts with the same ancient neural circuits that control physical responses to cold or fear, like goosebumps, creating that physical sensation of shivers. It's like your brain is so overwhelmed by the sheer awesomeness of the moment that it literally sends a happy little jolt down your spine. So, the next time you get the shivers from a perfect harmony or a moving speech, savor it. Your body isn't just feeling the feels, it's giving you a physical high. Basically, your brain is throwing a tiny involuntary party for your spine, complete with happy electrical surges. Number 1. The inner ear ringing. You're in a quiet room, everything is still, and then you hear it. A high-pitched whine, a subtle buzzing, or a persistent ringing sound that seems to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. You cup your ear, shake your head, but it persists, a phantom symphony playing exclusively for you. Welcome to the mysterious and often annoying world of tinnitus. And no, it's not always a secret message from aliens, though it feels like it. Tinnitus is the perception of sound when no external sound is present. It's not a disease itself, but rather a symptom of an underlying condition, which can range from something simple like earwax buildup or loud noise exposure to more complex issues. But the truly creepy part is that it often originates not from your ear, but from your brain. When the ear experiences damage, like from loud music, it stops sending certain signals to the brain. Your brain, accustomed to these signals, tries to compensate for the missing input by increasing the activity of neurons in the auditory cortex. It's like your brain turns up the volume on a radio station that isn't actually broadcasting anything, creating its own internal static. This ghost sound can be incredibly persistent and frustrating. So if you're hearing that internal hum, don't panic. It's usually just your brain's slightly overzealous attempt to fill in the blanks. Basically, your brain's internal radio is stuck on a frequency only you can hear, and sometimes it's just static.